bedheads. So today I'm going to talk about my experience living in a small town versus a big city. I lived in a small town in Oklahoma for 19 years and I've lived in New York City for the past 2 years. I moved right out of high school and I have some points to talk about. I wrote them down right here. I'm going to talk about shopping, eating out, transportation, entertainment, and then an overall look of the differences kind of. The first thing I'm going to talk about is shopping. It's just easier to shop in the city because you go to like Fifth Avenue or you go to Soho or meatpacking. There's literally in every area of the city there is somewhere to go shopping, and that's really convenient. I would say about like every 2 blocks there's somewhere to shop. If you're in Manhattan, there are stores literally everywhere. And there's all sorts of different stores. So if you're like a casual mom, or if you're a businesswoman, or if you go to a lot of fancy events, there's literally something for everyone. That's really nice because in a small town, most of the time there's not a mall or a shopping area in that small town. There wasn't in my small town growing up. We had to drive about 25-30 minutes to the nearest mall. And there were 2 malls in opposite directions, but they basically had like all of the same stores. Kohl's, JCPenney. We did get a Forever 21, but a lot later than everyone else got a Forever 21. We didn't get an H&M for forever. I don't even think we have an H&M now? I don't know, maybe, but we didn't have an H&M when I grew up there. We didn't have like a Zara or anything like that. So there's a very limited selection of stores. Most people shop at like the Buckle and Express and stuff like that. There just like really isn't a huge range for like teens. There are a lot of like little kid stores, and there were a lot of like full-on adult, like old boring people clothes stores, but not a ton for teenagers. That might have changed now because like I said, I haven't really been shopping there in like a good 3 years. So I don't know, it could have changed since I moved out, but growing up, yeah, there was definitely not a wide range of places to shop at. An example of like not having access to like certain styles of clothing that you want. Growing up, I was always into fashion, so I remember looking for skinny jeans before they were like really in, but I had seen like celebrities. I think I like saw Hannah Montana had like skinny jeans on or something, and I wanted them. I'm telling you, this was like probably when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, and I was dying for skinny jeans. Like I wanted them so bad, but back then in my town, bootcut jeans were still like the thing, and I couldn't find skinny jeans anywhere. We went to the mall, we went to like all these different stores, and nowhere had skinny jeans. So my mom had to take like my bootcut jeans and sew them into a skinny jean. I would say that like styles and certain brands don't make it to a small town until about like 4 or 5 years after big cities get it. Like New York and California will get things about like 4 or 5 years before Oklahoma like really gets it. Like there may be like a few places that you can like get your hands on something, but for it to like really take over and like be a thing and most people are wearing it, it takes a good like 4 years, which sucks because then it's like you can barely keep up with fashion trends and stuff if you only have access to the stores that are in your area. And then for thrift stores in my small town, I think we had like one Salvation Army and one Goodwill, maybe. No, we didn't even have a Goodwill. There just like wasn't very many places to go thrifting. Like you definitely had to take a drive if you wanted to get to a good thrift store. I think there was one Salvation Army in my town and it did not have a good selection at all, but places around college campuses, and there were quite a few around like older neighborhoods, and you could find such good stuff for so cheap there. And in New York, there are Goodwill, Salvation Armies, thrift stores, vintage stores literally everywhere, but there's no good selection because everyone thrifts here. Like in Oklahoma, there was always a huge selection of things, and in New York, everyone thrifts, and it's always been cool here, and everyone's always been into like getting vintage thrifting stuff because everyone has like such crazy styles here. So you have to like go so frequently to find good things because everyone's after it. And also, thrift stores are more expensive here. Like in Oklahoma, you can get things for literally like 50 cents, 25 cents, $1. Here, it's like $5 to like $10 you can get things for. So it's like more expensive. It's still cheap, but it's more expensive than what I was used to. So that was shopping. Now on to eating out. This is probably the most drastic difference in my town. I think we've grown a little bit since I've left, but for the majority of the time that I lived there, there was a KFC, an Arby's, a Taco Bell, and a McDonald's, a Wendy's too, and that was like really the only places that you could get food. We got a coffee shop when I was in like 10th grade or 11th grade. There's such a small selection, and there was this one place called City Bites, and I didn't start eating there. It's kind of expensive, so I think I just started eating there in high school, and it had like sandwiches and salads and stuff, and that was like the only place besides like a Subway that you could get semi-healthy food. So getting healthy food or like getting certain types of food is so hard. It's more of a general like hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken nuggets, that kind of stuff is like really all that's there, or like a McDonald's freaking salad. But in the city, there's so many places to eat. If you're a vegetarian, if you're a pescatarian, if you're a vegan, if you're gluten-free, if you are a hardcore meat eater, if you want Indian food, or if you want Greek food, or if you want Colombian food, if you want American food, literally they have everything. Sushi and Thai and ramen. There's so many places to get any kind of food that you want. It's incredible. Everywhere has a vegan option, whether it's like a Mexican place that has Brussels sprout tacos instead of like regular tacos, or a pizza place that sells vegan pizzas with like soy cheese. The options are endless here, and also everything is delivered here. Like you can get anything you want right to your doorstep, whether you use Seamless or Postmates or Grubhub or Uber Eats. Literally there are so many ways that you can get food delivered to your front door, and it's all through your phone, and most places already have a delivery service, so you can just call, order your food, and some guy will like bike it over to you. It's just so convenient, and it's an option. Like I don't use that very much because I feel lazy, but it's an option. In Oklahoma, the only thing you can get delivered is pizza. There's not even a vegan option. It's just like your standard pizzas. Okay, so now let's talk about transportation. And this is something that I kind of think that I like transportation in a small town better than in a big city. Even though in a big city you have way more options. You can take a bus, a train, the subway, the ferry, a car, a taxi, an Uber, a Lyft, ride a bike, walk. There are just so many options here to get places, which is really nice if you don't own a car or can't afford a car, or if you're a teenager. I'm sure I would have loved that before I got my driver's license, but they're all so much more of a hassle than just like hopping in your car and driving somewhere. I guess like it's more of opinion in that sense for transportation, and you have to pay for both. Like you have to pay for your gas and your car if you are in a small town, and for a big city you have to pay for your bus and train tickets, your ferry. Well, ferry rides, some of them are free. And you do get out a lot more in a big city because a lot of places you do have to walk at least part of the way. You have to walk to the bus station or walk to the subway, and in a small town you're just like hopping in your car right outside your back door and driving away, and then you drive right up to the parking lot. You know what I mean? So you definitely get out less in a small town, and you definitely have to like exercise more. It like forces you to exercise in a big city. So I do like that I can walk a lot of places and like get fresh air, and it like forces me to get out. And also the scenery is really pretty in a big city, but the convenience of just hopping in your car and just like going, and there's no traffic in a small town at all. So that's really nice too. I definitely think I do prefer having like a car and just like being able to drive wherever I want. Even though when I lived in a small town, I hated driving. I like thought it was so annoying, and it takes so much longer to get places because it's like anywhere that's worth going is like a 20-minute drive in town I grew up. So that was annoying. But here it takes a while too because you have to like catch the train and then get on the train and then take the train to your stop. But where I live in the city, it's so close to everywhere. So I'm basically wherever I want to be within like 10 to 20 minutes, and it's an easy walk. But during the winter that sucks. So it's like better to have a car, but in the spring and fall it's like super nice to be able to walk. So that's, yeah, like I said, kind of an opinion thing with transportation. It's what you prefer. A lot of people love not having to drive, not having to take care of a car, like maintenance on a car. They don't have to worry about getting gas, don't have to worry about. You just hop on a train and you can multitask and like read a book while you're getting somewhere, and you don't have to like be focusing on driving. You can be on your computer or be on the phone or be like doing whatever you want to do and just like sitting there, and you're still getting to where you want to go. And with a car, it's like you can listen to music and talk to people, but that's like basically it. You have to be like more focused on driving. So yeah, it's just kind of, like I said, a toss-up. Both of them have pros, both of them have cons. It's kind of, yeah, just your own opinion. My second to last point point is entertainment. In a city, you have so many options, so many free options, so many options for like paying to go places. You have museums and libraries, bookstores, coffee shops, parks, and different like little, I don't know, knick-knacky places and shopping. There's so many things to do here, so many options, whether you want to spend money or you don't want to spend any money. There are like movies in the park here, and in a small town, it's definitely a lot harder to figure out what to do. I mean, most of my high school days were spent like driving nowhere, like driving far away and then just like turning back and coming back home because there's nothing to do. Everything costs money in a small town. I mean, in my small town, everything costs money. Like, you can't do anything for free there except for go to the library. And here, there are more options for like free things or really cheap things. I feel like there's a lot of things to do if you're a kid in a small town, because like we had the Omniplex, like the Science Museum, the zoo, different places like that. Like the library had little things for kids to do, but that's only up until 5th grade. So like all of middle school and all of high school, there's like literally nothing to do unless you like going to like football games and stuff like that. And then when you're an adult, you have like bars and that whole scene and like bougie restaurants and like adult things. But as a teenager and like a preteen, there's seriously nothing to do except for go to the movies. And we didn't even have a theater in my town. We had a theater the next town over, which it was still really close, probably like a 15-minute drive from my house, I think. Yeah, if you're like a good kid, there's like not much to do in a small town, which sucks, besides reading a good book or like watching YouTube videos. I think that's why I got so addicted to YouTube at such a young age, because there's seriously nothing to do in a small town. So that sucks, but also you do have your family most of the time. If you like grew up in a small town and you stay in a small town, you have your family to hang out with. You have your cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents and the friends you grew up with. So in that respect, it's like you could have more fun potentially because you do have all of those people that you love and whatever around you. And in a city, it's a lot harder to make friends and a lot harder to like meet people, and you don't have your family or the people you grew up with to hang out with all the time. So that's like less fun, I guess you could say. I don't know. Again, like transportation, it's kind of an opinion thing. Sorry about the freaking sun. Keeps hiding behind clouds. Okay, so then my overall thoughts about a small town versus a big city. A big city just has so much more to offer, so much more to do if you want to work your way up in businesses and in places, and like you want more options for college and stuff. A big city is where it's at, and in like a business perspective. But if you're more of a homebody and a family-oriented person, I think that a small town has a lot to offer because it's an easy place to raise kids and to have a family, and it's a lot more like comfortable, and you can like settle into your little groove and like whatever. And so that's nice. I think for a lot of people like desire that kind of a lifestyle of like, it's just like so much more simple. Most people are just like used to living in a small town, and so you already kind of know, you're like already street smart in that kind of a sense. And in a big city, you have to learn to do a lot more things. Like, I mean, just doing laundry is a whole new experience, and going grocery shopping is a whole new experience. Every small task is way harder than in a small town, but you get a lot more benefits for like entertainment and stuff to do on the weekends. So many more opportunities for kids too. There are so many more different like drama clubs and things to do for kids in the arts, and like programs for kids leading up to college, like pre-college programs. There's just so many more options out there. In a small town, it's definitely like baseball, basketball, soccer, football, you know what I mean? Like sports. Not a lot of things for like kids who want to grow up and be an artist or be an actor or in the fashion industry, that kind of a thing. So yeah, once again, just like pros and cons, it's just so different. I hope you guys liked this video. I had someone that asked me to do this, and then I also have another subscriber that wants me to do a pros and cons of living in a big city. So be looking out for that soon. If you guys want to see that, give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section down below, or if you have ideas for other videos you want me to make, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Love you lots, bedheads.